Hello children, welcome to the online classes. In the previous session, I explained you microorganisms, different types of microorganisms, their origin, their habitat, where do they live, isn't it? And their uses and harmful effects. They, under harmful effects, you have learned many diseases. They cause diseases for plants, animals, as well as human beings. I gave you a list of diseases under bacteria, virus, protozoans, fungi, etc. yesterday in the last session for human beings. Plants also I told three diseases that are given for you: citrus canker, yellow mosaic virus in lady's finger, citrus canker in citrus plants, and rust disease in wheat caused by a type of fungus. Those are the plant diseases. Coming to the animal diseases, animals also get diseases. There is a bacterium called Bacillus anthracis discovered by Robert Koch. It causes a disease called anthrax in cattle. This disease is transmitted from cattle to human beings. It can be transmitted from cattle to human beings. Anthrax disease, it is caused by Bacillus anthracis. This Bacillus anthracis was discovered by Robert Koch. Next one, foot and mouth disease. Foot and mouth disease. This foot and mouth disease is caused by a virus in cattle. These are the only two diseases given for you in your textbook in the lesson. So many diseases are there, but you need not learn all those. I told the disease anthrax is transmitted from cattle to human beings. So the diseases that are transmitted from an animal to human beings or from one person to other person, they are called communicable diseases. Communicable diseases. For example, cholera. Cholera spreads from person to person. Common cold spreads from person to person. Conjunctivitis, eye infection also spreads very easily. So these are the communicable diseases or contagious diseases. What are they called? Contagious diseases. They spread from one person to another person. They may spread through water or through air, through contaminated water, or sometimes houseflies and mosquitoes also act as carriers of this disease causing microorganisms. For example, malaria. Malaria is caused by a protozoan called Plasmodium. Plasmodium is a protozoan that causes malaria. This Plasmodium is transmitted from an infected person to a healthy person by female Anopheles mosquito. When this female Anopheles mosquito bites an infected person, the disease causing Plasmodium enters the mosquito body, and when the same insect, when it bites a healthy person, the Plasmodium gets deposited into the blood of the healthy person. In such a manner, malaria is transmitted from one person to another person by female Anopheles mosquito. Here this acts as the carrier of the disease causing microorganism. This is a contagious or communicable disease. And dengue fever, it is caused by a type of virus, and this virus is also carried from one infected person to healthy person by female Aedes mosquito. Aedes. Female Aedes mosquito. This mosquito bites infected person, and when it bites a healthy person, the virus enters the healthy person's body. In such a manner, dengue is transmitted from sick person to healthy person. These are the examples of communicable or contagious diseases. So, how to prevent these diseases? We have to live in clean surroundings, or we should keep our surroundings clean, isn't it? We should avoid stagnation of water. ekkada kuda neeru nilva undakudadu. So stagnation of water must be avoided. Surroundings must be very clean. The house should be well ventilated. and we have to use mosquito nets during night, and also insecticides should be sprayed in the drainages. So we have to take these measures, otherwise the diseases spread very easily through mosquitoes. And next one, I told in harmful microorganisms only, they not only cause diseases, they also spoil the food. They spoil the food. For example, I said already, in pickles, the fungus will form if we keep it aside for a longer period, and if any droplets of water falls on the pickle also, mixes with the pickle, then it becomes poisonous, because fungus grows on that. Not only that one, if we do not eat the fruits and keep them aside for days together, they also spoil. They kullipotai kada, because the fungus attacks, bacteria and fungi may spoil the food. So to prevent the spoilage of food, to prevent the attack of bacteria and fungi, there are different preservative methods. We preserve the food items. What are the different preservative methods? For example, at home, pickles. Mother prepares pickles, and in pickles we add salt and oil. This salt and oil it reduces the growth of microorganisms. It stops the growth of microorganisms, salt and oil. That is why pickles are added with enough amount of salt and oil. This is one preservative method. And another preservative method for fruit juices, squashes, jams, jellies, we add some preservatives. They are sodium metabisulfite, and sodium benzoate. These are the two preservatives that are added to the fruit juices, jams, jellies, squashes, etc. to preserve them for a very long period. And for dry fish, meat, prawns. For these, excess of salt is added, and salt is applied to them, and they are dried in the sun drying. Sunlight, the heat of the sun kills the germs. This is another preservative method, isn't it? There are different preservative methods. We preserve for a shorter period, means in refrigerator. In cold storages, they store the food grains. In refrigerator, we store the food. But on large scale means like this, by pickles, by adding salt and oil, enough of salt and oil to the pickles, and also by adding sodium metabisulfite or sodium benzoate to the fruit juices, jams, jellies, etc., and adding salt and drying them in the sun. For example, dry fish, meat and prawns, like that. These are the different preservative methods. Yes. Next. And under useful microorganisms, I said a type of bacterium, that is Rhizobium bacterium. Rhizobium bacteria, they live in the root nodules of leguminous plants. In the root nodules of leguminous plants, these Rhizobium bacteria take shelter and they convert nitrogen in the atmosphere into nitrates. The nitrogen is very, very essential for growth of either plant or animal, plant body or animal body, because proteins are synthesized in the body with the help of nitrogen only. So nitrogen cannot enter our body by any means directly, or any plant body directly. Either a plant or an animal cannot take nitrogen from the atmosphere directly, like oxygen. Oxygen we can breathe in, directly it enters our body. Oxygen enters the plant body also during respiration through stomata, but by any means nitrogen cannot enter. It has to be converted to nitrate. converts nitrogen to nitrate in the atmosphere? The rhizobium bacteria convert nitrogen to nitrates. The rhizobium bacteria present in the root nodules of these leguminous plants. What are leguminous plants? All the pulses come under leguminous plants. Red gram, green gram, Bengal gram, black gram, etc. So, in the root nodules, these rhizobium bacteria take shelter and they give nitrogen to the plant, and the plant gives shelter to the bacterium. In such a manner, nitrates, the roots absorb the nitrates. The nitrates enter the plant body. When they are eaten by herbivores, the nitrates enter the herbivore, from herbivores to carnivores, and from herbivores and carnivores to omnivores. In such a manner, nitrogen from the atmosphere and gets transmitted. Afterwards, what happens? Every organism has a date of death. One day or the other, the organism has to die. Either it's a plant or an animal or human being. After death, what happens to the the dead body? The dead body will be eaten away by the bacteria and this certain type of bacteria and fungi. They clean the earth's surface. In such a manner, they are helping us. Otherwise, the whole earth will be filled with the dead bodies, carcasses of these plants and animals. But it is not happening so, because the fungi, the decomposers, they decompose. For example, bacteria and fungi, they decompose. Means what? They eat away the dead organic matter. In this process, while decomposing, nitrogen gets released into the atmosphere from the dead bodies. Isn't it? So, from the atmosphere, nitrogen is getting converted to nitrates by rhizobium bacteria, and roots are absorbing those nitrates from the soil, and from the plants, when the plants are eaten by herbivores, the nitrates enter herbivores, from herbivores to carnivores, and from herbivores, carnivores and plants to omnivores. And finally, from all these, after their death, what happens? The nitrogen gets released into the atmosphere again. In such a manner, nitrogen gets recycled in the atmosphere. From the rhizobium bacteria converts nitrogen to nitrates. The nitrates are absorbed by plants. Plants are eaten by herbivores. Herbivores are eaten by carnivores. And these all plants, herbivores and carnivores are eaten by omnivores. Either a plant or a herbivore or a carnivore or omnivore, any organism has to die one day. After death, the dead body will be eaten away by the decomposers. They are nothing but bacteria or fungi, certain type of bacteria and fungi. They are saprotrophs. They eat away the dead organic matter and decompose the dead body. While they are decomposing, nitrogen again gets released into the atmosphere. From here to again into the atmosphere. From the atmosphere, nitrogen is converted to nitrates. Again it is getting recycled. This is the nitrogen cycle. Understood, children? Microorganisms are very minute. We cannot see them with our naked eye. We have to use electron microscope. They are visible under powerful electron microscope. And these microorganisms, they live everywhere on this earth, either in water or soil or plant body or animal body. Either extreme environmental conditions, isn't it? Acidic or alkaline media, wherever they are, it is possible the microorganisms exist successfully. So, to be frank to speak, the microorganisms population is more than the plant or animal population. The population of microorganisms is higher on this earth. We cannot avoid. So these microorganisms, there are different types: bacteria, algae, fungi and protozoans. But in this chapter only we consider viruses also, because when they enter either a bacterial cell or a plant cell or an animal cell, they divide rapidly and multiply in number, and they cause diseases. A number of diseases are caused by viruses. I gave the list of diseases under viruses. You go through the textbook and you can refer Google also. So many diseases are caused by viruses. That is why viruses also we are learning under microorganisms, friends and foe. Yes, they are not only harmful microorganisms, useful microorganisms also are there. Lactobacillus bacterium in curd, yeast for fermentation in the industries of alcohol industry, wine industry, and some organisms they convert nitrogen to nitrates. They are the farmers' friends. Some microorganisms clean the earth's surface. In such a manner, the microorganisms are helping us, and on the other hand, some are causing diseases. We refer them as enemy, foe. So, microorganisms, friends, and foe. Hope you understood, children. Read the lesson from textbook. Have a nice day.